Chapter 23. Suddenly a bright flash of fire whipped from behind a nearby tree in a blur, then vanished as quickly as it appeared. Everyone stood on guard, looking around, trying to see where it had gone. Boom! The tree had come from behind and lit up, blazing with flames. "Fire spirit!" Yelena shouted. Olaf backed away, while he didn't know what a fire spirit was, and even though he was now made of permafrost, he was still aware that it wasn't a good idea to be close to fire. But this fire looked different from any he had ever seen. The flames weren't properly red and orange. Olaf saw hints of purple, and the flames were as terrifying as they were fantastic. This world takes Fascinating. This will make sense when I'm older, Olaf said to himself. "Get back, everyone," Yelena orders, wanting nothing more than to keep her people safe. All around, the Northuldra grabbed their children and their essentials, trying to keep away from the fire as much as they could. "Head for the river," Matthias yelled. The fire spirit began to move, leaving a trail of magical fire in his wake. There appears to be no logic to its directions. Arendelians and the Northuldra ran around in confusion, having no idea which way the fire trail would go. Elsa raced after them, wanting to help any way she could. The trail sparked and popped with the dry bush, and stray flames began new paths of their own. Flames sped up a shrub, then a tree. They appeared in the grasses. They consumed, and the fire grew, taking a life of its own. The heat and the crackling flames added to confusion. The Northuldra reindeer pawed on the ground nervously. One of them panicked and ran off. The rest of them followed, their hooves thundering as they galloped past. "No, no, no! The reindeer!" The Northuldra man named Ryder shouted as they moved and caught his attention. "That's the dead end!" Kristoff turned and saw the reindeer had bolted out of the area, and he knew there wasn't any time to waste. "Come on, Sven, we'll get them." With a quick lift, he hopped on Sven, and they raced after the runaway reindeer as the fire threatened to close their path. But Elsa saw that what was happening. She spun around, blasted her eyes, widening the opening through the fire in front of them. Kristoff and Sven leaped through it. Anna, who had been helping the Northuldra gather up their things and get to the river, turned to find that Elsa wasn't directly behind her. Instead, her sister was in the heart of the fire, her face intent as she used her power to battle the flame. "Elsa, get out of there!" Anna shouted. Anna struggled against the waves of people running for their lives as she headed closer to the flames instead of away from them. She was determined to get back to her sister. "Elsa," she called again. The heat of the raging fire got stronger. The closer she got to her sister, the smoke flooded her lungs with every breath she took. But she continued. Anna refused to leave Elsa. Kristoff and Sven caught up with the terrified reindeer. They panicked and grunted nervously in a small area where the exits were blocked by the fallen trees and fire. The unseized the cousins of the flames, bothered Sven as well. Kristoff patted his neck to reassure him. "Come on, buddy," Kristoff coaxed. There was something about the interconnection between Sven and Kristoff that calmed the other reindeer, at least enough that the duo was able to lead them safely away from the flames that were starting to sprout out the dead end. They raced back at full speed. Kristoff felt an urgency to make sure his friends were safe. "We can do this!" "Yeah!" One by one, the reindeer jumped through the flaming bushes until they were safely in the pure lane. Kristoff and Sven, Björn, Ryder, and a few other the Northuldra rushed forward to care for the reindeer. Violet looked at Kristoff gratefully. Kristoff smiled. Now it was time to find Anna. Kristoff looked around the flames and smoke, searching everywhere for a glimpse of her. When she finally found her, what she saw terrified him. Anna! Kristoff yelled, frightening for her life. Flames surrounded Anna and were closing in. Only one person could help Kristoff save her, Elsa. She hadn't been so busy trying to control the fire that she hadn't seen the danger her sister was in. When she finally saw the threat to Anna, she changed her tactics. Nothing can happen to her, Elsa thought. Spinning around and throwing out her magic, she created a hole in the flames just large enough for Kristoff and Sven to get through and reach Anna. It was getting harder and harder for Anna to breathe as she lay on the forest floor, wondering how to get to Elsa. She didn't hear the sounds of hooves and Kristoff's voice. She didn't even know they were until Kristoff grabbed her, swung her off to Sven, and the three of them exited the same way that Sven and Kristoff had come in. Get her out of here, Elsa shouted. She had been filled with fear, knowing all she could do was watch Kristoff went after Anna. Now that her sister was safe, she wanted her to run. No, Elsa! Anna cried, her voice hoarse from the smoke. They couldn't just leave her sister behind, but Kristoff didn't stop. Neither did Sven. The fire had been too close to Anna. They couldn't let anything happen to her. Elsa ran towards the flames. She hadn't even heard Anna call after her. It was up to her to put out the fire, and she would do whatever she could to stop it. The Inferno tore through the Northuldra camp, relentless and unforgiving. Elsa thought to control much of the danger as possible. Then she saw it. The fireball had started everything. It danced, it darted, it circled, and she followed it. She had been blasting the flames that had left behind. They hadn't gone out. At least not all the way. She hadn't been able to make a dent in the blaze. It was time for a new plan.